Hi and welcome to Outside the Box. This is our 12th episode and today it's the 4th of November. And today we're going to discuss a little bit about BSK, the tournament that we discussed in the last episode. And we're also going to go through the proposal for the restrictions during next ETC 2015. So first, maybe you could take just a minute or two to do a recap on your performance this weekend during the BSK, and then I'll talk through your predictions and see how close you came. So maybe we start with Lasse. How did it go, and what can you tell us about your weekend?
Well, I finished on 67 battle points, and I think my prediction was 76, so I had the numbers right, but in the wrong order. But I swear I saw them in front of me, so I was close. The team finished on second place, so well, I guess we're pretty happy with that. Still a lot of very good teams showed up, so I mean, second place is definitely all right, even though we aimed for first place. We got to play a pretty good Norwegian team first game, won by like 44 to 36 or maybe 42 to 38, I can't really remember. Played against a fairly good Swedish team after that. We got a little bit more points there, I think we got 48 points. And then we played against, who did we play against? Let's see, this must be the second game of day 2. Can you remember, Lage?
I don't know.
Let's see, I played against Demons.
How many points did you have?
Sparkles.
Did you play Hymns, maybe?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, we played against one of the local teams, and we smashed them. So we felt pretty good after 3 games. We had 3 wins, but not big wins, all of them. And then we played against a very good Swedish team, probably one of the top 5 teams. Håkan's team, the Swedish ETC captain, and three guys from Stockholm, and we actually they beat us by like 42 or 41 or 42, I think. And that felt pretty bad. I mean, we had a lot of bad luck. I mean, yeah, you shouldn't blame bad luck, but I have never seen 2 people cascade as many mages as we did in that tournament. It's just insane. But then we smashed in the last game, and I mean, in some magical way, we ended up on second place, even though we lost the game.
So you cheated?
Yeah, we cheated the last game.
And Lage?
Yeah, we're kind of unhappy with our results. I got 76 out of my weekend, so I'm happy with that. My aim was 75, so I mean, that's good. But the team didn't perform as we should, or we did in the first 4 games. First off, we faced off against the Norwegian team, Team Aden, and we kept them kind of easily. We had like 19, 17 points, so it's a really hard cap. 74 points, I guess. No, 72 points. Then we faced off against another Norwegian team called Dennis og Friends, and we kept them 80-0 for 20 nils. So that was kind of fun. I played Empire Mirrors, the first 2 games. They played similar lists, but not similar to mine, so I had more demiglyphs, so I could push them. Got 19 out of the first one and 20 out of the second one, so I was happy with that. Third game, we played Håkans, same team Lasse played, and I faced off against Jacob Scott with Vampire Counts, which, in my opinion, is my worst matchup, but he really didn't like to play Dwellers. He was really afraid of my Dwellers, so therefore he just sacked a lot of Diverters into my army for really no reason I could see, and also I had some really good cannon shots, like took off 5 wounds of the Terrorgeist the first turn, kill it off with my Steam Tech the second turn, and killed off the, what's it called, the Mortis Engine, like the fourth turn with cannon shot, so I got some nice dice rolls there. And I actually won the matchup. We sacrificed me in the drafting phase, and I got 13 out of that one, so I was really happy with that. Then we played Hymns, Hit Squad, and I faced off against Dark Elves, which is one of my better matchups. Had some nice dice rolls with my Steam Tank, who got like a long charge in, and my opponent, unluckily for him, he killed like 4 knights with his crossbowman, which allowed my Steam Tank to flank charge his warlocks. Otherwise, like the back rank blocked that charge, so since he killed so many, I could make that charge happen. And I got 13 out of that one as well. And then the last, coming up towards the last game, we actually had the lead with like 18 points versus 2 D6 old-timers, the last Norwegian team we faced off against. That was like the best Norwegian team, I think. Most ETC players.
I think all of them.
Yeah, exactly. And we like had a plan for the team to like play it really safe, really tight, don't take any unnecessary risks, because then we could actually crumble and they could get past us, but we could actually lose the game with 49-31 and still win the tournament. So I mean, we only need 31 points out of 4 matches. That should be really easy when you play towards it. And yeah, my team and it got 3 points out of their 3 games, so that kind of sucked. I took 11, so therefore I reached my goal, reaching 76 points, which after the last episode we talked, where we like made our claims of how many points we would take, I thought it was kind of high aim for an Empire list to go for 75, but I managed it, and I'm happy with that. But yeah, was some unnecessary risks in the last games there that led to us getting capped and got our 3rd place.
Too bad.
So yeah, it was too bad. But
I mean,
at least our predictions were good, like top 3, our team, Lasse's team, and 2 D6 old-timers, and 76 out of 75 points.
yeah, I'm kind of impressed by the predictions you did last episode, because you said like 75 points, and as you said, 76 points is one better. And then you had old-timers as the winners.
Yeah.
And then
And
you had... What?
Lage had old-timers as the winners, I think.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
And then Lage had Steffley as team number 2 and Lasse's team as number 3. So you were kind of only a switch from full pot. It's really impressive. Lasse, on the other hand, you are kind of the...
Close enough.
Yeah, you had the right numbers, just in the wrong order, and then you didn't quite get the top 3 right. And to be honest, you at 3rd place you said Norway. So I mean, you had like 5 teams to choose from.
But I think those were the guys I meant.
Yeah. So do you feel? Has the tournament improved? I mean, there were teams from Norway this time, and I know that Buffy sometimes has a little... His administration can be sometimes chaotic.
Yeah, it was the same. I mean, he didn't have like an intro or anything, and some of the terrains was messy as well.
Yeah.
Like ruins were missing and some other terrain pieces. But I mean, I'm used to playing with inaccurate terrain. You always do that during your training towards ETC and things like that. So I don't mind. I mean, the more hobbyists might, the hobbyists might mind more. I mean, if they don't get their forests and stuff like that.
I think, I mean, I've been there a lot of times, and somehow he makes it work. I mean, there's so many experienced players there, so I mean, in some cases the players make decisions when there's no judge or any administrative personnel there.
Yeah.
So.
Should also mention that Dennis did all the computer work.
Okay.
The dots and who played on which table and stuff like that. So.
Oh, so that's why you ended up in second place.
Yeah.
Well played, Dennis. Well played. So, okay, but you're satisfied? I mean, you both went for first place, but, I mean, it's always in next year?
Yeah.
And then I'll be
I mean,
playing...
it's always a great tournament, and
Yeah.
I like to see the Norwegians coming over again.
It was fun.
Playing,
Absolutely.
And I think...
And we actually talked about with them about like having, during the spring, have a training camp with them.
Yeah.
Like invite them to either one of our training camps or going over to them, training with them, and have like an pre-HC, like 5 games or 6 games where we play each other.
Yeah.
Would be lovely, to be honest.
Really good.
To exchange information and try to like go for a win this time. And actually trade some information. I think that might. I mean, we can give them some secrets, and they will let us in on theirs.
I think it could benefit them. Yeah. And I mean, the risk or chance that we meet them during ETC isn't that high anyway. So I mean,
it might be. I mean, they're trying really hard this year, and we will as well. So we might face them up in the top. But like during the first rounds, there's no risk, and it doesn't really matter. If we both benefit from the trade, we won't benefit versus each other, but hopefully we both get the same out of it. So.
And it will make the process a lot more fun, and also considering the shape of, or how the restrictions are shaping up, there's going to be a need for a lot of input. So so having an entirely different country to exchange information with could be really beneficial.
Yeah.
Especially all these special characters that might come.
Yeah, there will be so many variables.
So now when, I mean, we're kind of sliding in on the next subject. First, I just wanted to say that I saw them write on the forum that they really wanted Swedish guys to go to Norwegian tournaments, and maybe we should discuss that further on in the future and see if we can maybe go and try any of their team tournaments if they have any.
Yeah, they have one 3-person tournament.
Yeah, in the springtime.
With ETC restrictions. I mean, the main reason I didn't go to like the Norwegian Masters was that they had like uncomped 2,000 points, which is a format that I've never played.
Okay.
And I don't really like the format. I'd rather play with some restrictions. So, if you just find a good tournament with good restrictions, I would definitely go there.
Yeah. Talking about restrictions then, there's been a proposal for the ETC restrictions. And maybe we should discuss what we think is good and if there's anything that we think is bad about it. I mean, the restrictions can be found on the Warhammer forum. I'll post a link in this video description so you can look at them. And these are the restrictions as of now, so maybe if you watch this video in the future, the restrictions might have changed. So let's start with Lasse. What do you think about the restrictions? And when you talk about them, please explain what the specific part you're thinking of.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So just with no particular order here, as we've seen, they are talking about including special characters, and they're saying that special characters will be allowed, but with some restrictions. So I'm guessing maybe a complete ban of some of the more powerful ones, and then include others in the general restrictions. I mean, like maybe Morathi counts as a level 4. Teto Echo counts as a whatever, you know, so that you can't get free characters. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, like, for example, if you can only take like 2 Dreadlords, you could maybe go around that by taking 1 Dreadlord and 1 Malice Darkblade, if you would ever want that. There are, of course, in other armies where, for example, you could take Slugtongue instead of a normal level 2, and Slugtongue will only be better than a normal level 2 death, right? So you want him to count as a level 2 death at least, and stuff like that. Maybe just let them count as what they basically are on the table. And I'm liking that because, I mean, it's becoming a bit boring making ETC lists. Last year was, I think, pretty boring making lists, right?
Yeah.
It's been like 3 years or 2 years before that where we really had a lot of different ideas and stuff like that. But now we had a pretty good idea of what worked and what didn't work. But with this introduction with special characters, it opens up a lot of different builds and at least a lot of different builds you have to try, right? Doesn't have to look good on the paper, and maybe eventually we will only take like 1 or 2 special characters in a team, but you still have to try it and sit in an army builder and do certain lists, and there's not like, okay, I'm going to take that Pegasus Lord that is already built and completed, and you always have these characters that are included in every army, like that, the Bard, the Steed Prince and High Elves and stuff like that. So maybe this will be a bit, well, at least you have to check all the variables.
Yeah. Lage, what do you think about special characters? Good or bad?
I think it might be good and fun. What I don't like is that they went against like the voting. They put up a voting, asked for both special characters and scenarios. Both were voted down, and they went to bring both in. And I think that's like strange that you ask for the people's opinion and then you just don't take it into consideration at all.
True.
I don't like that, but I like how they're turning out. I mean, I enjoyed the special characters. I think they add another dimension to the game, and I think that will like open up the ETC lists, allowing different lists to go through and be viable. I also like that they bring in scenarios, but I don't like the random factor. So I think there will be set scenarios either for each table, like there will be 8 different scenarios, and like during the like drafting, that you draft for one table with one scenario, or maybe before, like 6 games, 6 scenarios, like first round everyone plays the same scenario, next round you play this scenario, so there will be no random factor, or not like that in 1 and 2 you decide the scenario and you see the other list is really bad in one scenario, so you always you get the point. It will be like a random factor which decides most games, like straight off, just a random die roll. And you don't want to bring in more of that. I mean, we want to eliminate that kind of thing.
I would be very surprised if they keep this system of generating scenarios, because
there's been really much bad feedback about that.
Yeah, and I think they're doing a really good job, but I honestly don't know what they were thinking when they did that one. Because they
will find a way to work it out somehow, and I think I might enjoy it.
But some armies, the stupid thing for me with random factor, there's that you're going to have an army. Someone's going to play an army, and he's always going to choose. I'm always going to choose this scenario every game and hope for luck.
Yeah.
And that's just stupid.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the other thing that I felt was, you mentioned it, but I think we could tell it one more time, that if you're going to do it, you should do it like 2 battle lines, then 4 different scenarios, and everybody plays the same scenario in game 1, same scenarios in game 2 and 3 and 4.
And no scenario. Regardless of what they decide, I think that it should be just a battle line in the last game.
Exactly, first and last, like we normally do here in Sweden. Because then if it's kind of neck and neck in the last game, you don't want the scenario interfering, and it's just down to the players.
I could also see like they're having 8 scenarios where you
8?
Like 8, for 8 tables. There's 8 games going on, and therefore you will have like one list that is really good at one scenario, and that list will play another list that is really good at that scenario as well. So like you can have, for example, if you have like you need the banners in the other player's deployment zone, you will have like an all-mounted list with banners that always play that scenario or try to get that scenario. But then you will also know that in the draft, like you can see like that there's very likely that they will put their Dark Elf list here and stuff like that. So you will draft knowing which scenario they will play at the table.
But won't that get kind of, I mean, if you start with the first pairing, you have to put up 2 armies, and then if you have 8 different scenarios and you you're
maybe
not 8. Then
you need like 4 different scenarios then.
Exactly,
like
because then you can just pick away.
Scenario. Yeah.
Still, I mean, do we really want scenarios that much? Honestly,
to be honest, I could definitely play without it. I mean,
I think
used to it, and I that's the kind of Warhammer I enjoy most actually. Like playing straight for points, no extra points anywhere.
I mean, for looking at the scenarios as a whole, the biggest thing for me, I mean, I think it's fun that they introduce special characters. Just don't get into a very difficult matrix like Lasse talked about, that you can't pick this but that, and then if you pick this one and blah blah blah, and then it just goes on, and you kind of get stuck in very complex restrictions. But
you could have, you could have like, you can only have one slam. Teto Echo counts as a slam.
Yeah, of course. But I mean, you have to think about all the different scenarios for picking special characters then. But the biggest thing for me is the first sentence is that all armies will be 2,400 points. And I
they
mean,
will need to work hard to get that.
Yeah, because for me, some armies just bye-bye.
Yeah.
Maybe not with special characters.
So you mean the...
Kings, for example, will get a huge boost when they can take Khalida. I mean, Khalida list is insanely good.
Yeah.
I don't know about Beastmen though. No one brought them last year, and they don't really have the special characters that change the matchup that much. I mean, Slagtongue is like the best one.
Yeah.
To my knowledge, at least.
And I mean, there has always been the problem with Beastmen and like Tomb Kings, and I mean, it's not going to get easier for Tomb Kings this year. And that's, I feel that things like that should be addressed. They won't, but I would really like to.
They also like took away Undead Legion.
Yeah, I saw.
And also the Demonic Legion, I guess, will be banned as well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they say Legions of Chaos and then other arms.
Exactly. So going further down, I really like the Magic, the changes to Magic. I mean, they went back on Oral Hatchet. Wasn't it like 4 power dice and it went up to 5 and now back to 4?
Yep.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
They had like 4 dices on Ash Storm.
Oh, maybe.
All right.
And looking, Lasse and I discussed this some nights ago or some evening. The lore of Undeath. I mean, when you put the cap like it is in the restrictions, for me, you might have written lore of Undeath is banned.
Yeah, no one will play lore of Undeath under these restrictions.
No, I don't think so. I mean, for me,
there might be some kind of list that is.
I'm thinking.
I would like to remove the last
level 1 goblin mages or stuff like that you can just raise a unit if you need it. Support mages, maybe.
Yeah, I would be hard to see anyone bringing it as their main caster.
A support mage with a power scroll, you heard it there first.
Because the middle sentence, no ethereal units may be raised, that's the sentence I want to remove.
Yeah.
Because you won't raise a unit that just kills the enemy, but you will raise a unit that could, I mean, really disturb your plans. And that is...
Yeah, and the same thing, like the last sentence is very important as well, because if the units is points, I mean, then you can't divert with them in the same way. You have to sacrifice like points to get the mage and The only
Yeah,
thing
yeah,
that makes
yeah.
you do
But-
is
but I'm-
like divert, so therefore it's better to just invest in diverters.
Do you have to? You don't have to raise the full value of the spell, right? If you can raise like 100 points, you don't have to raise 100 points. You could raise a unit of Felbats for 30 points, right?
I'm not sure.
Because in that
I
case,
guess-
it's still good. I mean, a 30-point unit of Felbats, why not? I mean,
Because you don't have any other mage. I mean, that's what I mean. You can't have it as your main mage.
but then again,
Because
it's only 12 inches. It's not good.
no, not at all.
They-
I mean, Raised Dead at the moment. Raised Dead is like better than the spells from
Yeah, yeah, it's
Lord of
much
Dead.
better.
And Raised Dead is not casted that much. From
No,
the
but then again,
Lords.
Vampire
They like
counts.
go for there instead. So
Vampire counts aren't camping in a corner with 3 cannons.
true. That's really true.
On the other hand, when you're covering in a corner, what are you going to divert with a 12-inch spell?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe it could be turn 6, and he has the last turn.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's. I mean, you're not gonna lose. I mean, it's still good, right? Just getting another unit, but
True.
is it worth it? That's the question, right? And I agree. I don't think it's worth it. But
I mean, I've never played against it or with it, so I don't really know how powerful it is. But on the paper, I don't see it as powerful. And I guess you need to try it out.
yeah.
Like every player needs to try it out in their lists,
Yeah.
and like to try a build a list around it. But at these restrictions, I don't see it worth it at all, compared to like Death or
Exactly, because
even
there's
Fire or Life or whatever.
there's no game-winning spell here. Even the big race is not comparable to getting a purple sun through or yeah, whatever spell.
Spoilers in the right moment, yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing that kind of brought my attention was Tomb Kings and Vampire Counts will be able to use Morgheists and Morghasts, and Beastmen, Demons, and Boris Chaos will be able to use Blight Kings. The thing that I really hope that they address is that, okay, don't introduce a unit that will only just replace a less good unit in the armor book. I mean, if we're gonna let some units through, there had to be like a trade-off somehow. And
No, but that's not what
What do
happened
you
with the
mean?
Terrorgeist.
Because
you know, we could say it like this: if you say like in the Beastman scenario, I think Blight Kings is because they have really good armor, I guess, or is there?
They
I
have
don't
3
know the
monsters. The Chaos Armor with shields
Yeah.
for shooting, and then I guess in close combat you want to use like great weapons or additional hand weapon, or maybe even use the shields and then they're 3 plus.
Yeah. So for me, there you have kind of the thing that Beastman is lacking armor save overall, and therefore you introduce something that is very useful. But if you introduce, and the thing for me is the Morgheists and Morghasts, I don't really see why they are introduced in a Vampire Counts army.
I just want to say one thing. It's either Morgheists or Morghasts, because there are no... They're called Morghast Archive,
Yeah.
something. Those two are not 2 units, it's 1 unit.
No, but I mean it's like
Just as a disclaimer.
You have crypt horrors. They can take a punch and they're kind of sustained, and then you have
War
guys, yeah, that are faster, cannot take the as big of a punch, but they deal out much more damage. And where does this unit fit in?
Well,
I mean, they're slightly in between. They're not as resilient as the Crypt Horrors, especially for
they are
crits,
more.
and
They are more resilient.
They are more resilient. For me, you kind of the only thing we can discuss
Not
is
for
the
points.
points. Yeah, then that's the
compared to
case.
points, you get almost two Crypt Horrors for the same points with regen. This unit has the same toughness and...
And what were their armor saves?
I think one of them has heavy armor and the other one I think has a 4-up.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're not
I
nearly
think.
as resilient.
But they have more wounds, I guess. I think they have more
I don't
wounds.
think
For me,
I'm not sure.
in the end,
Better weapon skill.
that's true.
But in the end, when you go down to I mean, comparing, it won't take that long to see that, okay, this unit is better overall. Because it doesn't give anything. I mean, if the units would have been like a shoot unit somehow, they shoot death arrows or something, then you have, okay, for vampire counts, this kind of makes sense. They don't have any ranged low strength shooting at all. They have the screams, that's it. But now when you introduce something that, I mean, someone is going to just do the calculations to see, okay, overall this unit is better.
I don't agree with that though.
You don't?
Because no, this is like comparing the plague drones and the beast of Nurgle in a demon army. That it's basically the same, because these guys, the Morghast, I think they're called Morghasts, and then and they are basically the same base and the same size of a unit as a plague drone unit. They're hovering and they're skirmish flyers with the same bases.
But when you do
whereas
that,
like the Cryptors are like the Beasts of Nurgle, a big block of more people, more wounds more wounds at least.
But you have to agree.
Slower unit.
But we have to agree, if we make that comparison, do you know anyone who would say, I'd rather take the drones than the beast?
I mean, they fill a different role.
Yeah.
I think they're best when you bring both. I mean, 2 units plus 2 units is, in my opinion, better than 4 units of beasts. Maybe. I'm not sure.
Oh, I agree with that.
I mean, the beasts are really, really good for...
Well, okay, but beasts are so ridiculously good, but you would, I guess, like, if you could compare 4 Cryptor units with maybe 2 Cryptor units and maybe 2 beast units, maybe that could be... But nobody has really played with these guys yet, at least not here in Sweden, so it's hard to say, I guess.
The change...
They are phones, and one of them have heavy armor, the other one has ebon wrought armor.
Yeah, I think it's a 4+.
Yeah, so they're not nearly as resilient as the Cryptors.
But the change I would like to have on that sentence, the change I would like to have on that sentence is that TK will able to use more guys than Morghast. I don't really see why. I mean, Vampire Counts is struggling.
No.
So I mean, when you pick your 8 armies, you're not going to go, okay, let's take Vampire Counts, and then we take Tomb Kings. But if you have,
what do you mean?
Yeah, if both armies can take more guys and Morghast, or
okay, I mean
no, they're
only
not Morghast. Morghast. There's nothing called Morghast.
Morghast and
there are 2 types of Morghasts. There's nothing that is called
They have
Morghast.
written 2 names here, so I'm just reading
that's
what
wrong.
Okay.
Yeah,
because
it's Harbingers and Archai.
Archai, Harbingers and Archai. And I mean, for me...
But they're 80 and 90 points.
Yeah, they're really expensive.
For a stat line that's, for example, worse than the Beast of Nurgle.
No, but still, I don't mind, because that means that people who have bought them, or people that think they're really cool, has a chance of using them. And if we deem that they're not good, so why include them? What do we have to lose from including them?
No, nothing.
No, sure.
Yeah, nothing really. But for me, it's when I looked at their stats, I felt that okay, you can quite easily calculate this. For me, I felt it like that. Okay, are these useful? And I mean, another thing is that why Cryptors is more used than the Vargheists, I think, is that Vargheists run away from your army. And that's never good if you're playing vampire counts. You wanted to keep you wanted to move your bubble.
Yeah.
But Blight Kings, I don't know the stats for those. Are they good, bad, crappy?
I told you the stats last night, man.
You said something about Halberd, strength 4, and I don't remember more.
No, that was the Morghasts.
Okay.
They can take either great weapon or additional weapon.
Halberd or additional.
Yeah, Halberd edition. But these are the Vikings, and they're weapon skill 6, initiative 5, 3 wounds, toughness 5,
Mounted?
strength. No, they're on foot. They're on 40 millimeter bases. These are the guys that are 40 mil bases, but they're infantry. So they can't stomp, and they can be stomped, and they can be killing blow. So they're 3 wounds each, and they have a chaos armor and shield. And then they can do like the Black Orcs. They can choose to fight with the great weapon, or keep the shield and the hand weapon, or they can switch to additional hand weapon.
So which, and the cost for those?
40 points each.
40 points each. So they probably will be seen in Beastman, but what do you think about Demons and Wars Chaos?
Honestly, I mean...
And I'm talking outside D2C, because I don't think Beastman will show up this year either.
I'm not sure, like, why did they even make them infantry? Well, I know why they did it, but it's stupid. So, they basically made the models to be infantry, like Chosen. But the models were too big, so they had to put them on 40 mil bases. And then why not just make them monsters?
But don't you think there could be a rata or a fact that says, okay, these are...
Let's just roll the GW size.
And see what happens.
Yeah.
Okay, but overall, anything you felt that they left out, or anything you really would like to see in the restrictions as a whole?
My take on it is that I don't like scenarios at all. I don't get why people like scenarios, honestly. And I like that they're bringing in the special characters, and also that they're bringing in the 50% lords and heroes. But that will require some restricting, or a lot of restricting, because
there will be a lot of restrictions this year to get this. Like,
if I'm not
stable.
If my math is not completely off here, I guess you can have 75% of your army in characters.
Yep.
So
25% core.
Yeah, 25% core and the rest in characters. And yeah, you should probably make sure you know that you're restricting everything, because
come on, I mean, it's good old Hero Hammer.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the problem with this kind of Hero Hammer is, for example, I can't remember who said it this week, and I think it was like Frederick or some guy from HIMS that said, just bring a unit of 40 engineers, Skaven engineers in one unit. It's impossible to kill that unit. You just distribute your wounds every turn, and you can only kill like 5 models in one initiative, and
honestly, that unit is probably the worst unit in the game, like, because you send one unit of Dragon Princes in there, and it's 50 points per engineer you challenge and kill, right?
Yeah, but you can always decline.
Yeah, but isn't the point that you want to challenge, or?
No.
Okay.
You can distribute.
You can only deal 2 damage or 2 wounds to each model in the front rank.
Yeah.
And if things get messy, then you have 50 diverters that you can just divert.
I don't know.
The thing that...
Do they even have the strength in numbers rule?
Yeah, we were discussing that as well. I'm not sure. I think characters do that.
The funny thing is, we probably will see, it depends on if we get a no restriction tournament here in Sweden, but we'll probably see like 3 or 6 chariots in Wars Chaos, and then only characters.
Yeah.
Could be fun.
And on the same time, you don't want them to be like, okay, you can only have this many points in characters, because then it's like, why do we even allow this rule? You want them to be like, you can only have maybe
just you can only have 4 of each character.
Yeah, exactly.
Because like facing off against 10 Waystalkers might not be that fun either.
No.
Maybe they could have like a scale on each character. Like if a character is on number 1 on the scale, that's a really good character, like a Star Dragon or a Demon Prince, and you can only take one from scale 1, and you can only take 2 from scale 2 and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But then again, you need a lot of restrictions. Like every entry needs a restriction, like the Swedish comp system. And I don't mind them doing such that kind of document, but I mean, the Swedish comp system is not that balanced, and that has been developed for over several years.
Yeah.
And to get something that's stable with that depth in that short amount of time, I don't think it's possible.
But couldn't they do like, okay, if a character costs more than 450 points, you can only take one. If it costs more, well, between 300 and 450, you can have two, and so on.
Yeah, sure, but then you don't restrict, for example, the spamming of engineers.
Yeah, but then you will go like, if it costs less than 50, you can only have 6 or something like that, or 5 or whatever.
But then, I mean, for me, then it's starting to get complicated. I mean, maybe
but how will they otherwise solve
we will
this?
see.
That should probably be the easiest way of solving it, right?
But I think, I mean, we don't have all the answers, so let them work on it. I think they have a plan and see what they come up with.
Yeah.
And then we bash it. Okay, guys.
Several episodes in a row.
I think time is up.
Yep.
And for all the viewers, follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. The links will be up after in the end of the video. And anything you want to say or shout outs?
Just thanks for watching. Hope everyone likes that we're doing this a bit more regularly now.
Yeah. So to the community, we say see you next time.
Later.
Bye.
Yeah.